Moto number 2 at Mount Morris was an entirely different story for Team Pro Circuit. Ben Townley bounced back to win the race and placed 3rd overall. Ryan Villapoto placed 2nd for 2nd overall, and by racing to 3rd, Josh Grant claimed the top step of the Mount Morris victory podium. While Ricky Carmichael won both motos over James Stewart, the deep cocoa brown sands of Southwick marked the emergence of Grant Langston.
Stewart now flashing this motorcycle and this racetrack, but Langston is staying right on him. And Langston passed him! Langston got around James Stewart! Holy smoke, check it out!
Although finishing 3rd overall, Langston used his remarkable sand skills and fierce determination to prove to all those who watched him that he could hang with the best at Southwick.
Definitely Southwick was really enjoyable. I mean, I think the way it happened was just really exciting for everyone, and I think it kind of made me realize that if I put my mind to something, that, you know, I can run up front.
Still flushed with enthusiasm and confidence after winning at Mount Morris, Josh Grant came to Southwick keen to prove he was a match for Townley and Villapoto. But it wouldn't turn out that way. The 2 Pro Circuit riders would bounce back from their bad luck-induced performances at Mount Morris and put on a 2-man show at Southwick. Grant, who ran in 3rd, was forced to deal with an unexpected challenge in the form of a 17-year-old rookie named Brian Dungey.
Dungey's going to go after Grant. The Suzuki rider has put himself in a position. He can see Josh Grant right in front of him, and that's the battle for 3rd spot.
As the 30-minute plus 2-lap moto wound down to its conclusion, Dungey closed in on Grant.
Dungey is coming after Grant the next time through, and we're running out of laps here. Grant making it by, but here comes Dungey. Dungey goes inside, then outside. Josh Grant and Dungey! Dungey makes the move! It's an unbelievable move!
He didn't have an amateur career like Carmichael or Stewart, where he was, you know, he was killing everybody every weekend, and that's what was a big surprise when he came to us. It's like, you know, who is this kid?
After defeating Grant, Dungey assumed his place on the podium alongside the world's 2 best lights riders. Budds Creek would provide a highly competitive forum for the otherworldly talents of James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael. James Stewart would have his day in the sun at Budds Creek, winning the opening moto. Meanwhile, behind them, Andrew Short raised eyebrows by stringing together 2 strong motos.
Budds Creek, you know, I went 5-3, I think, for 4th overall, and that was an exciting race for me. I kind of found my groove, you know, I found where I was, where I fit in that class. From pretty much there on out, I was a top 5 guy.
For the first 11 laps of Moto 2, Ricky Carmichael stalked James Stewart.
Here comes the number 7. Here comes the number 4. To the top of the mountain they go. Carmichael is right beside James Stewart as they come down Henry Hill. Carmichael trying to go out of the outside. Then he cuts it up. And Stewart, he is playing it flawlessly. Now Carmichael to the inside. Carmichael makes the move. Ricky Carmichael goes in the front of James Stewart. Talk about the big 100, because dude, you just did it. 100 outdoor wins. Folks, make some noise for Ricky Carmichael. 100 outdoor wins.
Ryan Villapoto decimated the competition by winning both lights motos by well over 10 seconds, the crowd was enthralled by a second moto battle between Josh Grant, Jason Lawrence, and Ryan Dungey.
It was just a battle. He would pass me and then I'd square up some other corner and pass him back. Lawrence would get in the mix and he'd pass both of us. Dungey would go for Lawrence and I'd pass both of them.
When the dust settled, Josh Grant finished 5th, Ryan Dungey 4th, and Jason Lawrence 3rd.
I mean, it didn't go my way, but I just felt good about the race.
For those who were fortunate enough to be there, to watch it, and perhaps more than anything, experience it, the 35th Annual Red Bud National in Buchanan, Michigan was one of those rare, once-in-a-lifetime races that seemed to have some sort of magic in it. On the Sunday of the 4th of July weekend of 2007, Ricky Carmichael paid his last visit to one of the most storied and popular tracks in the history of American motocross. Fans from all over the Midwest came in droves to see if Carmichael could take it to the mercurial kid from Florida named James Stewart one last time.
Right here, where Ricky Carmichael may be able to close up. It's interesting to watch the two greatest athletes out there today. This is the great outdoor.
After making several mistakes in the opening moto at Red Bud, RC finished a fast closing 2nd to Stewart. Mike Alessi, who pulled both hole shots at Red Bud aboard his KTM, kept Stewart and Carmichael honest in both motos. A remarkable performance for the young rider who has yet to fulfill the high expectations placed upon him. Surprised after things had been going so well, his team watched on helplessly as James experienced a slow-speed crash. After Carmichael crossed the finish line, the KTM team rejoiced with their rider Mike Alessi's overall result.
They're the best riders in the world, obviously, but we're all racers and we go out there to race and to beat each other. As the season started going on, I wasn't as intimidated. As you saw at Red Bud, I was racing those guys and I wasn't afraid, and I was holding my own.
Dude, Red Bud. We've got the whole shot award to do. We've got the top 3 in the lights class.
A few hours before the opening moto at Red Bud, Ben Townley had checked out of a nearby hospital. Up all night with severe stomach pains, it was feared he had suffered from appendicitis, but doctors cleared him to race. Already back on his heels after being soundly beaten by Villapoto in both motos at Bud's Creek, Townley knew he had to pull it together to keep his title hopes alive.